It's cool that I'm here today because I didn't know that we were gonna. The guy I work with had us come out here. He said, "Show up out here. Let's work out here." And he said, "You can work for pay. You can work for free." And I said, "Well, why don't I volunteer today? But I'll make a video because I'll get some ad revenue back on that. I can't just volunteer endlessly, you know? That's not sustainable." And they get that. But this is exactly the type of thing I'm excited about. And I knew our friend Stephanie was working on this. But hadn't had a chance to connect with her yet. So anyway, all I'm saying is awesome that got to be here today. This is the next thing. I'm here with Stephanie, who's heading this up. Hi, Steph.
Hey, guys.
So, Stephanie, tell me what y'all are doing out here.
Okay, so we are trying to offer solutions for people who are in tents and have things and don't have anywhere to put them. So it started with a person down the street. His home was destroyed. He left his property, and while he was gone, he was looted. And the very few things he still had were taken. So he moved back to his property onto sort of a makeshift tent. And while his home is being repaired, we just thought there had to be a better way to get his stuff that he did have secure and a warm place to maybe take a rest.
Yeah. I think it's awesome because, like, when I look at this, I'm looking at this immense problem of new housing for people.
Yeah.
But it's not just like people are going to get new houses. There's all these problems along the way. So I was really excited about what you're doing here because it's like this is a transition step towards people having a little more stability and sanity today out of just the madness of like losing their home. And so I think it's a really neat project to work on. It looks amazing. This is the first coat.
Might be the only coat.
Kept saying there's heavy machinery out there. Now I know what he meant by heavy machinery. Special thing under there. It's got like extra wheels. He's got the gear. I don't see why he couldn't get up there. Is it just the angle thing? Too close.
I mean, he could back it up. Try to get him close.
Oh, okay, we're spinning again. Hey friends, so we're about to go take a look at the tiny sheds. They're working on them today. I haven't made a video recently on it because it just takes time and some people are asking, but to tell a story and to build the story out for you guys and have the videos and to have the before and after, it just takes time. But they are moving along on these. Look at these gorgeous towers. Look at this food. It's so incredible. But what I wanted to talk about at the beginning of this video is I made a live talking about how we were trying to help a property owner get her land cleaned up here in Marshall. And I am an advocate for private property. So I believe, personally, if it's your property, you clean it up and you take care of it. And so we had gotten word, Aerial Recovery Group came into town with Ian Went, and we paired up and we thought they were going to be able to help this particular property owner clean up her property. They didn't have the right gear for the cleanup part, but Ian was able to bless a local business with a nice financial gifting. And someone asked me, how do you choose the businesses? They were looking to support iconic businesses. And when he reached out, I was like, yes, I have the one. All businesses are worthy in our town. They're all amazing. Some are really profitable naturally though, where their focus is not on getting rich and doing all the things and selling everything to make a ton of money. Actually, none of them in downtown are. But this particular business, it's been around for over 100 years. They still only take cash and check. Like, their goal is to support local artists and to provide quality mercantile stuff to the local people. And so, you know, I don't know the profitability of the business before, but these are definitely not companies that are focused on just selling as much as possible to make the biggest profit. These are companies that are serving the community. There's a history there, and we want that history to continue on. So that's how we chose that business. So when I made the live, I was sharing how there is a grace period. Now, that was my opinion. There's no like designated grace period to clean up property. I was just stating, like, as a whole, and I've experienced this in the past, there are requirements as a property owner. It's the same in like HOA neighborhoods. You have to have things a certain way, and if you don't, eventually you get fines. I had a permaculture food forest in the front yard of an area, and somebody turned me into the city and I had to clean it up or be fined. Like, that's just how things work. So that's what I was referring to, because I'm a private, oh, there's a deer. He's so sweet. I'm a private property advocate. I believe we have the right to own property, and as owners of property, we are responsible for taking care of it when something happens, right? And we have to live within the boundaries of the laws in our area. So personally, we choose not to live in HOAs and things like that because we are not willing to abide by those laws. So we found a different area to live with different laws. And I had mentioned on there, the National Guard can't help private property owners. Now, they have been helping private property owners and residential in another neighborhood. So I was confused why we were told that day. That was told to us that day, because what we were trying to do is get the concrete out and then see if they could pick it up. So we were trying to kind of work in collaboration. Well, I found out later, and I haven't confirmed this 100%, but it's not that they couldn't work on private property ever. It's that basically they have to do what the local government is telling them to work on. So they were saying, we can't work on those properties because their orders are coming from the local government, is from what I understand now, which makes more sense because I have seen them working on private residential properties down the street. So I guess it's just being designated, they're working together with the local government. And so she went to our local government and they said, hold off, they want to work on it together because the damage is significant. It's in the front part of our town and they want to be involved, which makes total sense. Now, we live in a small town. I do believe the intentions of our local officials are 100% wonderful, and that their goal is to clean up the city and to help the people in our city. I do believe that wholeheartedly. So is there risk in not doing it yourself and kind of going with that plan? I think there's always risk. Personally, I go back to my beliefs that as private property owners, the responsibility is on us to deal with our stuff. If it was mine, I'd personally clean it up, and then I would get the zoning and the engineers or whoever is involved to tell me what to do to make it to standard, to put another house or another building on, and I would work to get that done. That's my personal preference, and that is what we were trying to do. We were trying to start phase 1 of getting it cleaned up, and then I was actually going to do a fundraiser to try and do phase 2 to help it get back to buildable standards. Like, let's do it right. Again, I think in our small town, the goal is restoration and the good of the people. We live in a small town. There aren't resources here that people are trying to take. There's no reason not to do the right thing. So just wanted to clarify those particular pieces based on the live I did. I will link that live below if you didn't see it. Because again, I was going on limited information, and you know, I'm always going to have my biases in the things I say. So keep that in mind too. I am not a big government person, personally. I always think it's better to handle your situations on your own. And that's just my personal preference. That's just what I believe and how I would handle the situation. I would go through volunteer groups if I didn't have the money, which is what we're trying to do here. And it's difficult. Like, we're running into a lot of walls. And that becomes frustrating. Like, often I want to pull back and just not do anything anymore is the honest truth. Like, I just want to finish our project and shut the doors on helping. And I know that's not the right decision, so I'm praying and I'm partnering up with other people out there, because God has given us a voice through social media, through this platform, and so many of you guys are so amazing and want to support and are praying. And so to shut that door, I know is not the right thing and it's not God's plan. So just be in prayer. Like, we find the right ministries to partner with and the right people to help in each situation, because it's messy. It's very, very political both ways. And I don't like any of that. Like, me personally, I've shared before, I think both parties, you know, it's two sides of the same wicked coin is my go-to phrase for that. And I always go back to, and I will always go back to putting it in the hands of the church, and the church are the people. We are the church. So I just wanted to clarify that and kind of fill those gaps for you, and just kind of let you know from my personal opinion so that when I am speaking on these topics, I'm not necessarily saying they're trying to land grab in our area and they're going to take these properties 100%. Because I don't believe that in our area. But I do think there's consequences. There's a scripture. It says, if the foundation be corrupt, what hope do the righteous have? And, you know, we know at the top level, at that level, you're a devil. There's corruptness. And so even though our local government is amazing, it doesn't mean the outcome is always going to be positive when you align with organizations that are corrupt at the foundation. Okay, it's actually the next day. Yesterday got bonkers. A lot of work got done. So we're gonna go take some video and I'll show you guys inside the sheds. I have a link for a GoFundMe and a church link for if you want to do tax write-off, if you have any interest in donating. I am about to call another internet friend, I'll call them. She's a realtor in the area, just doing amazing work, and they are trying to do a building blitz in the Swannanoa area this weekend. So I'm gonna see how we can partner with them financially, materials, sheds, that kind of thing, because she's trying to get people in secure housing over there, and there's a lot of them. And that area is just not my area, so it's great we can like come along and hopefully support her mission. And look at the towers. Everything needs nutrients, but look at the amazingness. I am also partnering with a solar generated power battery, I don't know, generator company, to show you, because I learned, you know, I want my own power source for my towers and emergencies, and I need it to run on solar, because heaven forbid there ever was like a long-term situation. I would want to continue to be able to grow food. And I keep a year's supply of nutrients and growing materials, because first off, it doesn't take any space, which is amazing. And it's just so inexpensive. I pay, I think, 8 cents per rock wool. Don't hold me to that, because I said once it was 2 cents and I was way off. 8 to 11 cents. I think it's 11 if you don't buy in bulk, and I pay 8 because I buy in bulk. But it's 11 cents. And then I have all my seeds in bulk. I'm actually growing a lot of my own seeds. And what else do you need? And minerals. $65 for the minerals. The A and the B, both. And those last 7 to 9 months. For me, I would say they last about 7, because I grow a lot of food. And I let it get big. So, yeah. It's easy to keep those supplies, and then we have security. But the power was the one thing. And we had a generator. First off, it wasn't working when this hurricane hit and everything went down. But my husband was able to work with a friend down the street, and they got it fixed. The problem, and now we have a lot of gas on hand and things like that. I just don't like to put much security into a generator personally. I think that's like for a week or two crisis, which is, or something like this now. People are using generators still because they still don't have power. And so that's great. But if there was like a huge situation like this one was originally, people were out of gas really quickly, and they were landlocked. So they couldn't use their generators anyway if they weren't prepared. So that got my husband, oh, the sweet deer again. Man, I was hoping I could get them on film. They were adorable. Yeah, so it got my husband motivated to, and I'll link his channel below. It got him motivated to really get things in order on the generator gas side. But again, I've always said, like, I like to prepare for a year and a year without power. And so for me, that means having some kind of solar. This is my driveway, it's really bumpy. So having some kind of solar battery charger just for growing food, just for the towers, because that's what feeds us, you know, that's huge. And actually, it doesn't just feed us, it's our ticket to health and wellness in an emergency situation. Fresh food. The MREs and the prepper stuff that's out there, it'd be really hard to live on that kind of stuff for a long period of time and stay healthy. Alright, so here's one of the smaller sheds, 10 by 10 or 10 by 12. And so still a great space, like a bed. You can do a bed up here. We're going to do a railing, storage for things, ventilation, insulation, you know, temporary safe housing. This is why some of the donation stuff is kind of a problem. If you look, like, it's just impossible to actually have people come through this. We're just not set up as a distribution facility at the places where those who can take things, they can take them, but we're not really set up anywhere hardly for proper distribution. All right, so I'm back home and I'm just going to take you guys on a little tour, show you what's growing and what we have to do. I came back home. My boys are going to stay there and work on the sheds, but we also got to get our house in order. And so, you know, remember that you got to get your house in order if you want to be able to help people. It's like, put on your mask first. And so just let me show you some projects we're working on to do that, to get our house in order, make sure we're growing our own food, taking care of the things we need to take care of before winter comes, so that we're ready for a different kind of weather. All right, in top priorities, I don't know if I shared this. Our local nursery was doing 50% off fruiting trees and bushes. And so I grabbed 11 fruit trees, which I got to pick up. Service berries, pears, apples. And then these are blackberry, raspberry, blueberry, goji berry. I have all the herb seeds because I'm going to put herbs along the bottom. And this is a perimeter food forest. And so it's just a clay wall that was cut out to make the driveway bigger. And it's got erosion issues and it's not great. And so it actually helps to stabilize this by getting some things in front of it. And it's just going to be a permaculture food forest. It'll look like nature when it's done because I've got tall trees and then we're going to taper them. I'm going to put pawpaws in, which are like, they taste similar to a banana. It's just a wild food here. And those will be put in the spring. And so you're gonna have tall trees, medium size, like my serviceberry bushes and the pawpaws. And then under those, we'll start to do blueberries, blackberries, raspberry, goji berries. And then under those, I'll do a bunch of herbs, like perennial herbs, like sorrel. I'm gonna put some strawberries down along the front. So just lots of things. And I can take most of those herbs and other perennial plants from different parts of the property and just propagate them. And that's gonna give us food security. It covers this ugly wall. And so it'll be less ugly. Then some projects I gotta manage here. My garlic came in. So this is another Vigo raised bed. I've gotta get 3 raised beds going. 4. For radishes, garlic, and that's probably all I'm gonna plant this fall. We are building a wood shed to store all of the firewood because if we lost power in the winter, we need to make sure we have dry firewood ready to go. So we're building that out. We still gotta fix our screens. Look at how terrible. They just keep getting pushed to the low priority. And then as far as the towers, all of them need water and nutrients. You can hear it. So I'm gonna do that today. And the fall is a great time to put in a food forest, but you need to keep everything really, really wet in the fall. And these plants, guys, these are a cone cabbage. I love this variety so much. The leaves are fabulous. Chijimusai, dill, parsley. I'm gonna make a big parsley salad. I'm actually gonna make a whole video for you guys on my parsley salad from the hurricane because I've gotten so many questions on that one. Beautiful lettuce. Over here, this is Nagasaki bok choy. We've got turnips, so many turnips. Look at these gorgeous turnips. I mean, they are incredible. Lots of peas coming in. I think I'm gonna do a stir fry because between the peas, the green beans, the bok choys, what else can we put in our stir fry? Definitely got peppers. That doesn't really go with stir fry, but we also have mushrooms and peppers, so I can make mushroom pepper pizza. So got lots of green beans. This is how I actually plan my meals, just FYI. And then for turnips, I'm probably gonna make a soup this week because I really like turnip soup. All right, so if you wanna know the real reason why I grow my own food, I'm gonna tell it to you right now. First off, in 2012, 2014-ish, kind of in that time frame, the Lord was just like revealing so much about food and what's going to happen to our food systems and what's coming with our food, mostly around man taking over the genetics of food, and not through just GMOs, but through a different process. So that's already happened. It's using CRISPR technology, and CRISPR technology is different than GMOs in that CRISPR technology, they are not just removing a gene from something, but they can actually let one of these starts. They can splice something else in. So what they've approved, the FDA recently approved, was a soybean that is 20% pig protein. And you can just Google that and look it up. So they're taking not like kinds and blending them together. And I am completely against that. You may not even know you're consuming is mustard greens. And so they took mustard, Bayer company took mustard, used CRISPR technology to take out the spice. So if I eat this right now, spicy, maybe cool out. So yeah, it's got a little kick. It's wasabi-y, which, oh, it's so good actually. There's the kick. So it was wasabi-y, and then it has a nice kick at the end. That's how God designed it. It's medicinal. That is being removed so that it tastes sweet like lettuce. Why? I don't know. We already have lettuce. Why do you need mustard greens to be sweet like lettuce if you've got lettuce already? So that one's already out. If you're buying packages of greens, especially baby greens, probably already consuming it because that's what it's in. They're doing it to apples. They're doing it to a lot of food. So it's, for me, that's one of the main reasons I grow my own food, is because I don't trust what they're doing to our food. It is experimental. It is taking it up a notch and playing God with our food. And, you know, there's a lot of motives behind it. Control the food, control the people. So, me personally, that is why I grow especially greens. Look at this gorgeous cilantro. So this whole top row is cilantro. And also growing your own, you just eat so much more. Like, I have to eat 8 bundles of cilantro. So we're going to eat 8 bundles of cilantro, which is amazing. I'm about to harvest a bunch of that and make guacamole. And so the other concern with what's being done with the grocery store is there's zero consent. So we have all this new stuff coming out. There's one called A, P, ends in an L. They don't have to tell you what it's on. And so it can be on organic food. And so you can look at the back of things like apples, lemons, avocados, and it might say something weird like, oh, I don't even remember the terminology now, but it doesn't say, hey, we use this experimental thing to coat your food so that it can sit here for 3 months and it'll look like it's fresh, but it's actually 3 months old because we've got this fake stuff on it. It's natural, right? So that's a concern, but there's zero consent. Like they inject things into watermelons and they coat the outside with, does anybody put on the packaging, hey, we put this on the outside of your watermelon and we injected the inside with this? It's not on there. And that's what really concerns me about food. Whoever they is, Big Food, has partnered with corrupt industries, in my opinion. And, you know, someone asked me the other day, because there's a big thing going on with Kellogg's right now, and why they're using natural things in other countries and then in ours not. And the question was, well, why would they do that? It's money. It's all about money. And so all that to say, they put whatever they want in and on your food, and they don't tell you, and there's zero consent. And I believe it's driven by a corrupt love of money and total wickedness. And, you know, the only way to get out of that is to get out of it. Spend our money different places. Grow your own food. This is not complicated, guys. I'm sitting here having a conversation with you guys on this beautiful day, which gets me outside. It's cool, but I've got my skin exposed for vitamin D. And it's good for us. It's good for us to be outside. It's good for us to, even if we grow indoors, to be connected to our food is a good thing. Here's my final thought. When I was buying those fruit trees, a woman walked by and she said, "Are you getting all those fruit trees?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And she said, "Good for you, because if we've learned anything through this storm, it's that we all need to be better prepared." I was like, amen.